Assembly is the name given to the section in which all the parts that compose the upper and the sole are united in order to construct the shoe. There are several ways of doing this union. Each one is designated with a type of construction, and in any case we will have an own sequence of operations of assembly of the upper on the last associated to a certain method of fixation of the sole. A method of assembly of the upper can be combined with one or several methods of fixation of the sole, originating like this a variety of types of construction. Each type of construction is associated to a certain group of characteristics related with the use, the fashion, the price that will condition its choice for the produced shoe. We will speak about these characteristics in particular for each one of the construction types presented. Pratik construction system. In this construction system there is no direct fixation of the upper to the sole. The upper is first joined to the inner sole and later the inner sole is fixed to the sole through the cementing of the sole. The system here presented is very much used in children's shoes, and it may also be found as construction system in men's shoes. Here we present the principal operations of the Pratik assembly system. Preparation of the upper to the sole. To fasten the inner sole to the last. To set up the upper on the last. To stitch the welt to the inner sole. To cement the sole to the assembly inner sole. To finish the sole. Last pulling. Construction materials. Inner sole of assembly. The inner sole possesses a particularity when compared to other assembly systems. This assembly inner sole doesn't stay at the corner of the last. It must be wider so that later we can make the assembly of the upper. Sole. The sole usually presents a superior width to the width of the last, because the sole is trimmed right after its cementing to the shoe. Preparation of the upper. To place and to mold the stiffener. In order the upper gains shape, it is necessary to place the stiffener. This is placed in the back part of the shoe and it is going until the counterpart. Its purpose is to give firmness to the shoe last pulled. After the placement of the reinforcements, the lining is free, being necessary to proceed to its cementing. In this construction system, the margin that will serve for the assembly stays facing out. Placement of the toe puff. The toe puff is applied between the skin and the lining. Usually, I use toe puffs that will be molded through heat. To rough the assembly board. The execution of this operation has a purpose to remove the spare material at the assembly board and to create a larger contact surface to allow the correct cementing of the upper to the inner sole. Construction process. To apply glue in the inner sole. With a cementing machine, glue is applied in the outline of the inner sole so that later it is possible to make the assembly of the upper to the assembly inner sole. To apply glue to the assembly board. This operation can be made manually or mechanically. Its purpose is to prepare the assembly board of the upper to the assembly inner sole. To fasten the inner sole to the last. The inner sole is placed in the base of the last, correctly centered. For the fixation of the assembly inner sole, 2 or 3 staples are placed, pulling and lasting toes. The upper is placed on the last, and here there is to enhance that it is necessary that the employee positions correctly the upper on the last, having attention to the following points. Verify in the upper if the area of the toe is well centered on the last. Verify that the back counter's height is correct, using as indicated the demarcation that is usually done on the last. Only after the verification of these points we can drive the machine to close the area of the toe. This operation nowadays is made mechanically. The equipment used for this assembly type is specific, because the pulling and lasting machine is constituted by 2 molds that correspond to the right foot and the left. This phase will allow closing the shoe on the area of the shoe sides and seat. The employee will be able to make the bolt of the shoe in a side and seat laster machine or in a creasing machine. If he executes the operation manually and/or other equipment than the creasing machine, lately he will have to crease the shoe and remove the excess material of the assembly board. To stitch the inner sole to the upper. This operation is mechanical and it consists of stitching all around the inner sole to the shoe. to finish off tips of the stitch. It consists of pulling the tips of the stitch and to cut the surplus of the stitching thread. To remove staples. Just as the name indicates, this operation consists in removing the staples that previously were to fasten the inner sole to the last. To remove the material excess. The material excess in the assembly board is removed in this phase. For the operation to be correctly executed, no damage can be made to the material and the board should be completely with the same width. To apply glue in the assembly base and in the sole. This operation consists on the preparation of the materials for the cementing. To assure the correct execution of this operation, it is necessary to verify that the upper and sole didn't get dirty with glue, the glue was well spread in the upper and sole. To cement the sole to the upper. The sole is pointed manually to the upper, and later the shoe is placed in a press for the execution of the pressing of the sole to the upper. To clean the shoe. This operation may be considered as a finishing operation, but sometimes it is made in the assembly because it allows to hold the shoe better and to turn more efficient the execution of the operation. To remove the material excess. It is verified that after the cementing of the sole to the shoe, the sole presents a superior width to the width of the assembly board, becoming necessary to proceed to the rough hewing of the sole. Usually this operation is executed in roughing machines. To soft fluffing the outline of the shoe. The operation here referred is usually made to uniformize the outline of the sole. This is one of the operations that need great care in its execution. To finish the outline of the sole. This operation can be made in the finishing phase or still during the assembly process. The execution of this operation in the assembly process presents the advantage that the shoe is still on the last, which allows a better execution of the operation, also avoiding the deformation of the shoe during its handling. Last pulling. It removes the shoe from the last.